just don't do easy. The things that we do are challenging by nature.
Each Corps Chief wants to contribute, make that contribution to giving people even more responsibility, more capability, to have a bigger impact on a system that affects 3 million people and their dependents.
It's about the patient, the patient, the patient. You got to take care of the patient first, then take care of your own men.
I believe that every Corps Chief served exceptionally well in the historic period in which he or she served. And their service and what they were focusing on at the time and what they were focusing on for the future was informed by what was going on in the world at that time. There are lessons that we can draw from each of those Corps Chiefs based on what they were seeing when they were seeing it. What I think we as a Corps need to do is to continue to deliver on the excellence that we've always delivered right here, right now, today, tomorrow, next year. But we also have to be thinking about what the Corps of the future looks like. And so that's what I hope to do in my tenure as Corps Chief, is to bring about a collective understanding of the environment in which we work and how that's going to impact us as a Corps in the future.
You know, the problems that Colonel Meigs has as a Corps Chief were not the same as General Lewis had, or as the same that General Miller had, or the same that I was going to have. So it was situational, you know. And so what I wanted to do right away is I felt that we were getting away from the basics, and that we were not becoming experts in what we needed to be experts in. Because the only way that a clinic or a hospital, in my opinion, runs well is if a good administrator puts the patient in the room with the provider, with the medical record, with all the medical equipment and supplies necessary in a good, safe environment. You know, that's what administrators or MSCs do. They do all of those things so that the provider has the encounter with the patient, has everything he or she needs. And I said, let's make sure we're doing that. And so that was my focus, is trying to get the provider and the patient together as much as possible.
What I struggled with the most was the tension between the corps. It just going into an MTF, 30-bed facility, and working with physicians and nurses and BSCs and technicians and first sergeants, I was amazed at the inability sometimes of the individuals to come together and appreciate what others brought to the table. It just seemed the nurses were the nurses, the MSCs were the MSCs, and the docs were the docs. So I think that was absolutely my first struggle and what I consider to be a barrier to teamwork, which was very, very important to me, is to work together as a team. So that one sticks with me to this day. I think over time we've gotten over that. I think the root cause was really the system, and the fact that the system limited opportunities for all the corps but physicians, and that became very difficult for folks to work together. There's also the commercial side of the business, which I won't get into, but that was probably my biggest struggle. Unfortunately, when I came in, there were only 40 females in the corps, period. So for us, it was a little difficult. We had to balance being a female in the military as well as in healthcare administration.
I think it was just a matter of being at the table when there were staff meetings. For instance, at the Surgeon General's office, he would normally have a daily how goes it meeting. And General Monty Miller had his physician, he had his dentist, he had a variety of other key members, Director of Plans and Hospitalization, a lot of those folks together. And when I first arrived on staff, I learned that as the commander of the Air Force Office of Medical Support here at Brooks, a major supply administrative support to the health medical service, that I was not invited to those evening meetings. And so I made it known through the Deputy Surgeon General that I thought I had something to offer and that I would like to be present at those meetings. And of course that was accepted. But it's at those kind of meetings that you can have this interaction and dialogue with all of the different corps, so that you have that ability to communicate with them as to what you're doing and learn what they're doing, and that together you can deliver a better service to the end product, and that's the patient.
Air Force values you as a person more than they value the bottom line. And I will tell you, there are few civilian organizations that can say that. They not only value you, but they value your family. And they give you responsibility far beyond what you would get in most civilian organizations as soon as you come out of officer training. The job that you're going into is far greater than the job that you would be given straight out of graduate school in most civilian corporations. The number of people you're going to be given to supervise is more than generally what you get when you go into a civilian corporation. The comforting thing is those people that you're going to supervise have oftentimes more than 20 years of experience. Some of them have more experience than you've been alive. And so when you go in, if you establish your relationship with those people, relationship first, and then communication, those people are not going to let you fail. So when you come right out of graduate school or college or whatever it is, you're going to go into the Air Force a success if you establish those relationships and communicate effectively.
That was important, that the MSCs be in the same position, that they love what they do, they have the energy to get involved in this, and all those blocks that you build through this strategic planning business, which was not my forte, but I went with the game because that's what you're supposed to do. Sure. This guy, Carl Harrison, was a personnel guy. He knew all the games that they played for promotional opportunities. So I utilized him in front of people to talk about what you need to pay attention to in your OER, your PME, your advanced degrees. All these kinds of things fit together, and that's what the Corps Chief's Office is about. But you have to remember that you're in the Air Force, the operative term in. You're not just an MSC. Correct. You're an officer in the United States Air Force, and what you do goes beyond the bricks and the mortar.
If I had a legacy I wanted to leave behind, it was that the importance of the Medical Service Corps, what we brought to the table as a sub-organization in the Air Force Medical Service, and how important it was that we do our job extremely well in supporting all the other healthcare providers in the Air Force Medical Service Corps. It was one of the core belief I had about the Medical Service Corps was that is a core competency for us. You know, it is a core competency, how to improve processes. I know we use the term Six Sigma and Lean today, but back in those days, it was quality assurance, quality improvement, and that was something that I used to say, if MSCs don't take the lead on that, who will? And so that's why I thought it was important as a core competency for MSC officers to know how to do that, and especially a critical thinking piece.
What we do is serious business, it really is. But I think you need to have fun along the way. And I think you need to embrace the importance and the value of what we're doing. Embrace the joy in what you do. Because when you not only enjoy, but find joy in what you do, then you're going to want to do it to the very best of your ability.
I love being an MSC. From that day on, there was no reason for me to apologize for having to work with doctors. I didn't care anymore. The only thing I know is I can influence them by my work ethic.
To me, it was always about developing future leaders. If as long as I could offer, if somebody wanted to grow and wanted an opportunity to do something I wanted to give them that opportunity, but I wanted them to have the skill sets to do it, the tools to do it. So it was all about leaving the Corps their future leaders and making sure that those future leaders had the confidence in themselves to achieve whatever it is they wanted to achieve.
To me, it's a calling. It's not a job. I never said, well, I got to go to my job today. I got to go to work today. It was like I got up every morning saying, man, I can't wait to get into the office. I can't wait to get to the clinic or the hospital or the headquarters or the Pentagon or whatever. I can't wait to get there because every day is different. Every day is going to be new. And so if you come into the Corps and you think it's a job, then you need to get out of my Air Force. You know, you need to go do something else.
I worked a lot to instill pride in the Medical Service Corps and to make sure that we had a good esprit within the Corps, a good spirit. We worked very hard on that. And I did that through, again, communicating every chance I got about what our job was, how important our job was, how well we were doing that job, and making sure everybody understood that.
The future is really, really bright for those people that have now this education and training and experience. The leash is getting ready to be taken off these people. And you're going to see an Air Force Medical Service in 10 to 15 years that's going to be completely different than what you and I have experienced. And I'm going to be really proud of it.